This episode of Jonjo Lyons Reviews is sponsored by Last Shirt on the Left. To see the fully uncut version of this video, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons.
What's that like to live deliciously? Chaos reigns.
Please don't scream.
Nah, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What's going on? My name is Jonjo Lyons, and today I'm here to present to you my review for Gorotica. Written and directed by Hugh Gallagher, Gorotica stars... What are these lot? Neil and Max are bank robbers. Max swallows an expensive jewel and gets shot and dies. Neil takes off with Max and meets Carrie, the necrophiliac. If it isn't already clear from my previous videos, I have a soft spot for the old shot-on-video first-time director horror. Terrible acting and a ridiculous plot topped with gratuitous nudity and gallons of blood, which more often than not is the wrong colour. Independent filmmaking in its purest and most incompetent form. That being said, I've got to be honest here, Gorotica is by far the worst quality film I have ever covered for the channel. So much so that during the first 20 minutes, I basically decided I wasn't going to cover it. Then the main girl a corpse and I was back in! But before we get into all of that, I just want to remind you, you can see this video completely uncut and early at patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons for as little as $2 a month. As long-time viewers of the channel know, I get paid cool from YouTube, and the only way I'm able to pay my rent is with the support of my patrons. Why don't you just get a normal job, I hear you scream? Well, people in real life find me vexing, if you can believe that. The guzzling shit. So in light of the fact that I can't function in normal society, if you enjoy the content, want to see these videos uncut, want to join the private party that is the Discord, or just want to support a really comedian with a tiny, tiny penis, join the Patreon. And if you don't have $2 but still like the content, please click subscribe. 20k subs is so close. It's literally right there. Let's get it. Oh, and leave a like on the video as well, please. It really helps. I'll suck your But anyway, I'm in the mood to experience great difficulty attempting to see and hear the film I'm trying to watch, so let's not waste any more time. Get ready to watch me lust after yet another necrophile. Help me! This is Gorotica. The movie begins with a dedication to Anthony Perkins, then cuts to this girl Carrie having a smoke while looking at pictures of dead bodies. Which look to me like real dead bodies, so let's move on. She gets on the bed and starts touching herself up, grabbing at her udders and then moving down to double click her mouse. She then reaches off the bed and grabs this skull before making it go down on her, which she seems to thoroughly enjoy. I really can't wait to make movies. It seems fun. Cut to our title card and opening credits, and then to these two running away from a place they were robbing. They hide and one moans at the other about him cutting the wrong wire and setting off the alarm. Worried about the police finding evidence on them, this fella Max swallows a giant diamond, then they go to get out of there when they're stopped and there's a brief shootout. With apparently no sound.
Police officer, put your hands up. You too, pal. Put them up real slow.
Look, I'm gonna try to go easy on this movie as it looks like it was made for the same budget as a Happy Meal, but still. Guns make a noise. With the cop dead and Max also tagged, the remaining criminal Neil robs this guy's car, then picks up his friend as we cut back to the corpse. She does her makeup and we see various articles about death pinned to the wall. We also get to see her tits. She finishes getting dressed and leaves when we cut to Neil shouting at Max for talking him into doing this job.
One job, you said, you know? One job. Why did I ever let you talk me into this?
They're in a band and I guess they thought selling the diamond would help fund their future exploits, but now Max is dead with the diamond inside him and Neil is down a drummer and presumably a friend. He drives into a cemetery when we cut to the love of my life getting out of her car in the same place and drawing for a shovel. She notices Neil's ride, so drops the shovel, heads over and finds Neil passed out.
Hey there.
Neil lies, saying Max is just sleeping and goes to drive away, but the girl catches on pretty quick that that isn't the case.
Look, I don't think your friend here is gonna wake up. I think I can help you.
The pair then throw Max in the trunk and drive off together, apparently now a team. Cut to them now at Carrie's house, popping Max in the tub. Neil tells Carrie he doesn't have any money, not sure what she wants in return for this favor, then goes and grabs a phone number out of Max's pocket. He says he might be able to get a lot of money, so takes a seat and starts to dial the number. He then stops, saying it probably isn't a good idea to call from here, so he's gonna step out, but he'll be back.
I'll take care of your friend.
Oh, I bet you will, love. Neil leaves as Carrie joins Max and tells him she's never had one as fresh as him before.
I'll pay a good price for you. But I think I'll keep you to myself for a little while.
That corpse!
I'll be gentle.
Please don't. Cut to Neil getting in a phone booth as this nosy looks through the window. He calls this woman who tells him due to their handling of the job, the person she represents is no longer interested in buying the diamond. Neil says he's willing to negotiate, he just needs money to travel, so the woman tells him to call back tomorrow at 1 and in the meantime she'll see what she can do.
I trust the item is safe?
Yeah, it's safe. No one's gonna touch it.
Love affairs never last.
I really like that cut. No one's gonna touch the diamond, but someone's gonna f the container it's in. Carrie says something about how her and Max aren't so different. They're both decaying or whatever. The only difference is Max can't complain about it anymore, I think.
We're not so different. We just can't complain about it.
If you thought the dialogue was hard to hear before, let's whack the sound of running water on top. Now that's art. The editor making the Skullman dance at the end just makes this scene perfect. Cut to Neil going for a walk when he's suddenly jumped by cops and chased through this alley. They manage to grab him and find a gun which he says isn't his.
I found the gun. Man, that's not my gun. You got the wrong person!
Why are you trying to convince them it's not your gun? They planted it, they know. One of them calls Neil a cop killer and the other chucks him on the ground and pours garbage on him. The cop then moans about his dead cop mate's wife and says he's gonna go to her tonight and tell her they blew his brains out. He's gonna make him shoot the gun he says isn't his and then his partner is gonna gun him down. With all hope lost, Neil looks over at this rat, metaphor, then fights back, kicking the cop off him and surprisingly using the rat as a projectile. Nick then picks up the gun and shoots the cop. Neil gets the f*** out of there and we see more pictures of death before cutting to him ditching his gun and heading inside Carrie's place. Inside, he laments the fact that the situation seems to be getting out of control when he discovers Carrie giving Max a haircut.
I'm cleaning him up. He is starting to get stiff. At least the good parts are.
I want to have relations with this woman so much. I want her to cut my head off and use it to punch her hole until it's fully consumed. Then I want her to give birth to my severed head and repeat the process over and over again until the skin peels off and she queefs it out like some sort of handsome afterbirth. I am your tool, Carrie. Use me, defile me, destroy me!
Jesus.
Neil goes to check his face, saying he's getting the hell out of there as Carrie continues with the haircut, and we cut to our heroes having a chat later. With Neil on the sofa and Carrie and Max in her room, she tells him about her dad's funeral, seemingly giving insight into the origin of her necrophilic proclivities.
My mother told me to go and kiss him goodbye. Couldn't understand why. He seemed so nice. That was the first time I actually felt love towards my father.
She tells Max she's gonna take him to see someone he won't like but knows how to make him stop smelling and she needs to pay rent. She jumps on top asking if he's in there and gives him a little kiss before piercing his nipple, which looks real to me. I'm sorry, but I don't think that this production had a fake nipple budget, so that's probably real. She then whaps her baps out and fucks the corpse again. This goes on for a while as we see multiple shots of Neil on the sofa somehow not himself to death. Cut to the next day as Neil gets to the phone booth again. He calls the woman back and she tells him she can only pay him 25 grand. Neil isn't happy as the original price was 250,000, but the woman says again no one wants to handle it after what they did and the only reason they're getting anything at all is because her boss needs it to complete a collection. Neil accepts this and she says they need to meet in Buffalo, which is a 20-hour drive from where he is. Neil tells her he just wants this over with when we cut back to Carrie. It's her hair. That's what it is. She's got a Fairuza Balk thing going on, and I'm a big fan. She calls this mysterious client, telling him the body is gonna cost him more, then goes to drag Max out when she's jump scared by Neil. He says he'll handle it from here and grabs a knife to cut him up. For obvious reasons, Carrie doesn't want him to do that, but he insists, so she knocks him out in one of my favourite moments of the film so far.
I'm sure you'll see it my way when you wake up. You won't have a choice.
Oh, that was rough, guys. Maybe do another take? No? Moving on? Okay. Cut to Neil waking up sometime later and finding a note with an address on it. We get a flashback of Carrie talking about the guy she's going to see getting rid of the body, so Neil parkours out of the house and grabs his gun on the way. Cut to Carrie dealing with this dressed up like Dracula. This is Blake, and he agrees the body is super fresh, so he should be able to preserve him for longer.
I think I'm in love.
I think I'm gonna be sick if I don't get some money.
Blake gives Carrie her cash, and it becomes clear the man was once a highly sought after piece of ass before contracting AIDS. So now he just bangs the corpses that she can procure for him. Blake then asks Carrie if she wants the extra money, and she kicks off saying they do this every single time. He says he needs a living touch or he'll go crazy, so she begrudgingly agrees, heading to the back to get the stuff. Cut to Neil hitchhiking, talking to himself.
By now we're supposed to be out on the beach living a good life. Instead, I'm chasing my dead friend around the city. Friend. I don't even like that anymore.
Someone pulls over and Neil jumps in as we cut to Carrie giving us some more exposition.
You're dying of AIDS. You're dead people, and you want me to beat you every time I come around. Most people would be in their deathbeds crying.
Oh, holy mother of God, step on my coin purse, really get it under your heel. What we have here is a scene where a man with AIDS f***s a corpse up the arse while being whipped by a hot girl with her tits out. You're welcome. Cut to Neil arriving outside. He bursts into Blake's with his gun drawn, but Carrie goes all Catwoman, disarming him with her whip, and the pair scuffle on the ground. Neil manages to break free when Blake pulls the gun on him, telling him to just walk away. Neil seems to be taking their instruction when he suddenly throws his knife and stabs Blake to death, getting blood all over him.
All you had to do was walk away. Now look at you, a prime candidate for AIDS.
What are you talking about?
That's not how you catch AIDS. Having sex with your mum is how you catch AIDS. This is all wrong.
Looks like you'll be joining your friend after all.
We may need company.
Oh, sh**! Good night, Carrie. Hey, Neil, you should blatantly f*** her before you go. It's only fair. Finally, Neil is able to pop Max on the floor and cut open his bowel before digging his hand deep inside.
All right.
Oh, what the f***, Neil? Did you just pop that in your mouth to clean it off? That's just been residing in a place in your friend's body that's solely inhabited by feces. What the f*** is wrong with you? Now, having contracted AIDS and presumably dysentery, Neil leaves as we cut to him at a motel shaving his head. He leaves the bathroom, looks at his diamond, gets a cigarette ready, and then douses himself in gasoline. Next, he pours aftershave everywhere as if the gas wouldn't have been enough. He then says this.
Dead. Alive.
Echoing the same line that Carrie said to him earlier on in the film, if you're having trouble hearing what it is. He goes to light up when there's a knock at the door and he's joined by the phone woman. She comments on the room smelling like aftershave, so I guess the reason he threw it everywhere was to cover the smell of the gasoline, but that doesn't make any f***ing sense. Neil asks if she has the money and she says she ran into some problems and only has $5 grand for him. He says he thought she might say something like that and asks if she has a light when we get the final and kind of badass line of the movie.
They f you when you're dead, and they f you when you're alive. So when I die, I want to be cremated.
Yes, so do I.
That's good.
The end! Well, nowhere near as gory as it should have been for having the word gore in its title, but I liked it. Gorotica is one of those movies that reminds me maybe I should try to approach reviews with a bit more of an objective stance. As in judging movies on their actual quality rather than how I feel about them or what I picture they could have been. Then again, this is my channel when I can do whatever the hell I want, so f it. I had a lot of fun with this one. The story is the one thing I love most about it. Like, imagine if this was some sort of twisted Tarantino movie. Thieves steal a diamond, one of them swallows it and gets killed, the other one gets help from someone who turns out to be a necrophile when her goals then clash with his, leading to a shootout and eventual flaming motel. Awesome. Of course, the execution is lacking in every single department, but this is such an interesting story to me and one I 100% think should get a remake. I wonder who I need to speak to get the rights. In terms of the character work here, everyone is amateurish and awful. The main guy, Neil, was likable, Carrie had me bricked up for the duration, and Max just has to be a dead person the entire time, which doesn't sound too demanding. The guy who played Dracula was pretty good though, in that he really looked like he had AIDS. So, credit where credit's due. Onto the gore, and yeah, for this one being called Gorotica, it's pretty light on the good stuff. We get a cop lying in a pool of blood and a headshot here and there, but really nothing else. I guess what makes this an extreme horror movie is the fact that Carrie a dead guy multiple times, but even that's pretty tame. As much as I liked the movie, this was a massive disappointment. Presentation, I'm not even going to bother with. The film is such poor quality that part of me wonders if this was done on purpose. I did like a couple of the editing choices though, so well done for that, guys. In the end, Gorotica is a film I really enjoyed despite the fact that you can barely see or hear what's going on most of the time. It's a great story that could be easily expanded upon in a modern day and a great achievement for the amateur crew. I know this movie is supposed to be part of a trilogy by the same filmmaker, and you can be damn sure I'm going to be checking out the other entries in the series. For now though, I recommend it to those of you who might appreciate the fact that they tried their best. So that was my review for Gorotica. What do you lot think? I really need to do something about my attraction to women having sex with dead bodies. Where the f did that come from? It's either the fact that I have the security of knowing I can never let a dead person down like I do every single living person I've ever met in my entire life, or no, that's what it is. That's what it is. Speaking of which, if you want to see Carrie's completely uncut and early, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons for as little as $2 a month. There you can find the uncut version of this review, plus others with more stuff being added all the time. We got the uncut reviews, Patreon exclusive reviews, slasher comic breakdowns, and the Discord. And all that can be yours for as little as $2 a month. You can pledge more, I really appreciate it, as I need to pay for my personality surgery. They're gonna make me more of a I know. Exciting. And if you want to get your hands on this absolutely gorgeous Necromantic 2 long sleeve, head over to Last Shirt on the Left. Last Shirt on the Left are a clothing label sporting a huge range of some of the sickest designs, both officially licensed and inspired by some of your favourite horror movies. Not only that, but they also sell high quality prints and pins like this awesome Necromantic one here. You can check out their full range at lastshirtonTheLeft.co.uk, and don't forget to use the promo code JONJO for 10% off your order. That's promo code JONJO for 10% off. So that's it for another week. Like the video, leave a comment and click subscribe if you haven't already. My name's Jonjo Lyons, and I wonder what Carrie's up to these days. Probably wrapping a creamy penis teaser around another stiff. Call me.